Hello everyone, my name is Ro again. I'm here today to talk about dirty rectangles. I'm probably not qualified to talk about them, but I'm really interested in Python and Pygame and programming at the moment, and I was doing a lot of research and looking for information on dirty rectangles. I was interested in doing some sequence blitting, and I just wanted to learn more. But I couldn't find a lot of information, so I used what information I did find and created an interesting program. And because I didn't find a lot of information, I thought, well, what the heck? I'll make a video and I'll try and share with others what I've learned, and maybe they can find it helpful and useful for later on. So I'm going to go to my Genie, and I'm going to talk about the program. I'm going to try and be quick and concise, and try not to go over time, I guess. So this is basically initializing Pygame, and it's kind of useful stuff. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what it does. This sets the game bool to true, so while true, the game's going to run. And here's some other variables that I've given bool values. And then I assign some images here. And this is a color image of a nebula, which I think came from the Hubble telescope from NASA, and interesting stuff. So I got this image, and then I converted it to grayscale. And I got that image there, and I made this image here to bounce around the screen and kind of show you as it moves around what dirty rectangles are and what they do. By the way, I got a lot of this information from this guy here. He made a really cool program, and a lot of this is basically his code with my code kind of intertwined, and some changes that I made that I thought might be better, but there might be worse too. I have no idea. Perhaps you can tell me. In any case, so here's the colors, and then I got the rectangle of the size of this guy, and we set the screen size to that so that each time, so that if you might have a different picture or something like that you can put in there, it'll change the size of the screen based on what pictures you have put in here. So then I configured the images, and then I got this square rectangle that I can use later on with positioning stuff, as you can see. And then I got the direction of the vector, I guess, of the bouncing square as it bounces around. I gave it a kind of a speed and direction there. And then I blit the screen here, blit the screen here. I blit the square. So this blits the gray background initially, and this bit blits the square on top of it. And then I made some variables. I called them update variables because based on what values these contain, the screen will update differently. So if this is true, it'll update the entire screen. If it's not true, it'll update the rects that it finds in here. If it finds no rects, it's not going to update anything and just kind of pass it. Here is a function that I made to make it easier with changing the x or y values of the square as it hits the sides of the screen. And so that's basically what that is, and gives it a kind of random direction and random speed as it bounces out of them. And so this is the game loop. This starts the game, and here's the code that I kind of put in there. So this updates, if flip is true, it's going to update the entire screen, and it is true initially right here. Flip is true because we want to update the entire screen based on what we put there. And if it's not true, we just want you to update the rects if there's something inside of it, and then update rects. And then basically this sets the rects to 0, and flip is false. So it'll just keep passing this code if nothing changes down inside the game loop here. And this is basically the good housekeeping. We have the ability to close the program correctly. This gives the paint mode. So basically, if you hit P, it'll start painting the grayscale picture. The bouncing square will start painting the grayscale picture with colors, the colored picture behind it. It's kind of nifty. It looks cool. The R refreshes the screen and turns it all back to grayscale again. Hitting D will turn off dirty rects and make basically the bouncing square go around and become just this big streak of square and start painting the whole canvas one color. It's kind of nifty. And then this toggles the camera, which kind of shows the dirty square. It puts the little camera in the top left-hand corner. and it shows kind of the dirty rectangle underneath the square or behind the square as it's getting blit to the screen, except it's the colored version instead of the grayscale version. And so basically, this is that part where it says, if the dirty square is on, I want you to make a subsurface of the rectangle, dirty rectangle, or the square rectangle. And so basically, this is basically say, hey, take the square rectangle, blit the background color to the screen, and then append the rects list with that rectangle. So it says, oh, let's add something here to be updated later. And then if I toggle paint on, instead of painting that square, we're going to paint this camera background. So it'll basically say, hey, paint this instead. As a matter of fact, that should probably be after. Yeah, that's probably why I have this here. So this should be after. And let's just get rid of this, just to be on the safe side. We'll get rid of that. Yeah, there's no tutorial is perfect. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, and maybe you can tell me if I'm way wrong in what I think and whatnot. But this gives the direction a vector, speed. So the square isn't stationary, it's actually moving around. This prevents the square from stopping, which was a common bug that I had. Oops. Let's look into the out of game loop again. Which is a common bug. It would just go up to the corner and just kind of be like, okay, now I have no direction and speed anymore, and just kind of stop. Hide behind the camera. This checks to see if the square has hit the sides of the screen or left the sides of the screen, and returns them to the correct positions and launches them the other way. It's like it's bouncing around kind of a thing. This blits the bouncing square, so this is always going to be so it's not encased in, and if this happens, blit the square, it's always going to be bouncing around. So that's what it did. And we're always going to append the rects, so this is never really going to be empty. There's always going to be a rectangle here, and it's going to be that bouncing square. Let's see, this captures the rect below. So this basically says, hey, what's underneath? And this time it does the background color, so it picks the color background underneath and takes the subsurface, which is kind of useful and kind of cool. I mean, it is useful to see it too in action, I guess. This runs the camera feature, so if camera's on, we'll take the camera and blit it to the top left-hand corner, and then we'll take the camera rectangle and update the rects, so it says, okay, make sure you update the camera when it's running. This blits the cam surface below the square, kind of like a dirty rect. Okay, yeah, so this is the painting. Excuse me. And then it ticks. It says, okay, don't go super fast, slow down. And then that's the end of the loop. If you exit the loop, Pygame quits, and so does Python. So we're going to save it, and we're going to execute, and you can see what's going on here. Nothing too special, it's just a little bouncing square as it goes around. And so what's going on is, in most Python games, you have the animated object, which is moving, and then you have the whole screen, which is going to be blit behind it. So the animated object's moving, and then the whole screen's being blit behind it, and that's happening every loop. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is this is being blit to the screen, and then its old position is being blit as a subsurface. So the rectangle is just kind of blit as a subsurface behind it. And I can turn off that subsurface, and you can see that it's just, okay, now it's just painting the whole screen this salmon color. Is going around the happy salmon color. We'll turn that off and go back here. That might not illustrate it the best way. The best way to illustrate it, I think, is hitting the P button and painting. And so now you can see that now the dirty rectangle that's being blit behind this rectangle is actually a color image. And this color image is given to us by little camera function. And you can see here's the camera. And so we're getting this color image from from um, from the background. This part right here, background blitcam. Oh, sorry, this part here. So it takes the background color subsurface, and that's where we're getting that from. And let's go back and take a look. So it's kind of cool. It's painted most of the nebula back to its proper color. So I think that's it. I tried to do this as perhaps a way to maybe increase and improve performance for Pygames. So maybe that by only giving a list of rectangles that have changed to be appended here, it might be possible to make a square, like taking the list of rectangles and finding, the top left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner of all the squares that have changed, and just blitting one update to that one rectangle. That could also be possible, probably effective way of doing that. My logic hasn't gone that far yet, though I might try that in the future. Yeah, I've done some tests, and they're kind of inconclusive. So I don't know if this is actually better or not. If you want to do some tests and let me know if this is better, that would be appreciated. I think it's a little bit faster. It could be anything from 5 times faster to not any faster at all. That's basically the what I've concluded. But it looks pretty cool. And I had a lot of fun programming this and messing around with it, and a lot of thanks to this gentleman here, who did a lot of the work here. His site again is the pythongamebook.com. And then you can go here if you like, and you can get his code. I think it's in section 7, though I don't see a link to section 7. Maybe clicking here. Okay, yeah, clicking the Pygame and going to section 7. He has his own version of what I did, and you can download it by going down here and clicking this link here. He didn't update the rectangles like I did, but I decided, hey, instead of updating the entire screen, I kind of want to use what dirty rects should be used for, at least what I think they should be used for, and just only update the portions of the screen that have changed. But in any case, I couldn't have done this without him. So it'd be worth it to look at that if you need an example of what I've done here. And I hope you all enjoy. If you have any comments, you're more than welcome to leave them. And thank you very much for watching. Take care.